Hey,
Happy 4th of July. What's up, man?
happy 4th of July. I can see you're dressed in the appropriate colors.
I think I have a little bit of it's around the black. There's a little bit of or within the black, a little bit of red, white, and blue. That's Pressure Pythons there in Jacksonville.
All right.
What's up, Sammy? Are you we got I think Sammy and Chris are going to be at the shindig this weekend, Joe. Did you get your ticket to Baltimore for tomorrow?
I'm sorry. No, I did not get my ticket to Baltimore tomorrow.
All right. I appreciate the honesty, but
I don't want to lead you on anymore. That's
Can you imagine a massive prank where you just like strand me in Baltimore? Like, I got the car, I'll pick you up. You don't rent a car, don't do anything. I'll be right there.
That's it was very tempting. You really got to me last week.
I pitch it. Yes. Well, yeah. I saw the wheels turning. People don't know after the show, we parsed out the ins and outs of sneaking Joe into the, Baltimore and greater Philadelphia metro areas. And it just didn't come to be though.
It didn't materialize. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But I mean, that it sounds like a great time. I'm interested in hearing about how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm sure next week we'll have a little chat about it. I'm sure about that. So, what plans you got for today, man?
I don't have any plans, and that's the great thing about the 4th of July is that usually, like when I was a kid, and I think we're going to talk about this, but when I was a kid. It was like there was a party at my grandmother's house, and we'd go out and we'd do our own fireworks outside of our house in Long Island and blah 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 blah. The great thing about 4th of July is you can do something, you can not do something, and and it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not like you're less of a person if you do. If you don't do anything for the 4th of July. Whereas if you don't do anything for Christmas, that makes you less of a person.
Yeah. No, unless you're an adult orphan with no kids, then you can do nothing on Christmas if you want. But otherwise, yeah, you should do something. You should not be Scrooge on Christmas. Yeah, we it has what's the Forrest Gump meme where he's like, it just rained and rained and rained. It is just the rivers are flooded here. Yeah, the town's flooded. There's another 2 to 3 inches over the next, anywhere today, and then the next 3 days are thunderstorms kind of straight through. What I'm terrified of is whoever the powers that be are that declare these sorts of things. They've declared El Nino over, and everybody said that I got the mild winter to start with in Minnesota because of El Nino. Well, let me tell you, if this level of moisture and precipitation continues, I'm screwed for the winter, man. I mean, they say every inch of rain is a foot of snow.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I mean, literally we've had like 18 to 20 inches in the past, like we're averaging almost an inch a day for the past, I don't know how long, man.
That's the equation that they make is in Minnesota, is that an inch of rain equals an inch of snow later in the year?
Yeah, it works perfectly. Yeah. The math it's amazing how well the math works. It just came to a clear, no, I don't know. No, but that's what they say. But when they're like, not to make jokes about,
I don't know these things.
No, I don't either. But not to make jokes about COVID. But when they're like, it's 6 feet. 6 feet's the magic number. It's 72 inches. That's what we figured out. Yeah. So apparently they say an inch of rain would be about a foot of snow, is what they say.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
what are you doing? Are you doing anything for the 4th of July?
Well, that leads into it. 2 to 3 inches of rain in the forecast really kind of limits what plans can be made. So along the riverbanks where everybody, so there's this little river that flows through downtown. That's the Mississippi. And I make that joke because I had no idea when the first time I was here and I met Kelly's parents. I'm like, this is a beautiful city, nice downtown. What's the name of this river? What do you call this thing here? They're like, that's the Mississippi. I'm like, that one. Okay.
I gotta be honest. I would have done the same thing. I have no idea. I had no idea that
I was trying to be chatty.
Mississippi River.
Goes right through. And it's big. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, it's all flooded. The other rivers are flooded. Like the areas you'd go to watch the fireworks, but all the little townships and cities around the metro area they either went last night with their fireworks or they have contingency plans for tomorrow. So like, you're not going to go out and make plans today is the unfortunate thing. So
I don't. So that's the other thing I don't understand. We have off. Most people have. It's a national holiday, but most people have off Independence Day.
Yeah.
I guess the people who work fireworks also take that seriously because they're not doing fireworks. I can't find a firework thing. Like most of the small towns around me are doing fireworks the weekend before. Like they're already done. Like they already got it out of the way.
What, they didn't want to compete with like Tampa's big one?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's probably why. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but why not do it? I don't know. I don't know. Today, even tomorrow would be great. But they've already done it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing here. They would do them today, but they're going to be they're getting the contingency plans and all that, and basically they're telling people like it's not going to happen tonight. So, but then tomorrow I fly into Baltimore, so I don't know that I'll see the fireworks display this year, which is frustrating because I love 4th of July, man.
I know this is the thing. I think we talked about this. This is your favorite holiday.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's very special. Yeah. I like for it. So Thanksgiving is special for a lot of reasons. I obviously have a lot of Christmas memories. That's special. But 4th of July. So when I was growing up, my parents were divorced. My mom lived in Maine. My dad lived in Florida, and I primarily lived with my father. But summers I always spent with my mother. And Maine in the summer is so different than Florida any other time of the year. And so I always look forward to it. And the 4th of July was like, I remember like the awe on everybody's faces looking up and like the weird, like, you know, how people's faces light up under the fireworks and then there's the booms and everything is like magnified when you're a kid. So I would be traveling to Maine. That's a big trip. I'd be there. We'd be looking forward to it. The days are super long in Maine. They're way longer than they are in Florida. So it's like super late. It doesn't even start till 10:30 kind of thing. And the other part of it is my mother's husband is a Polish immigrant, and he emigrated from Poland at a time when you were not allowed to leave and go west. So he was in the Polish military. He defected. He escaped on a one of those little boats that hang off the sides of like big barges, like the escape boats, you know. He hid in one of those, got across a river into Germany to his family that he hadn't met. He was the accidental baby of his parents. And in the war, his family had been split up. His parents stayed in Poland and his siblings were in Germany in sort of the free West versus the communist East. And he escaped, went to Germany, got his paperwork from Reagan administration, 1982, and makes his way to America. And the 4th of July was incredible, and becomes an American citizen and lives the American dream and all of that. And so the 4th of July, I always remember how proud and excited, his name is Henrik, how proud and excited Henrik was for the 4th of July. So all of those things combined with from, I think I did the math. I think it was 17 years that I worked. I didn't have a 4th of July off. So I never got to experience that stuff with when my own son came along. Kelly does not like the fireworks. She does. It bothers our dogs. Her father has terrible military PTSD. It's not her thing. And those things I do have respect for, those concerns. So I like the drone show middle ground, this new technology, but I do still like the good old fashioned. I mean, there's just something to it,
I do too. Yeah.
I feel like, wait, I need that thump in my chest. Can the drones do that? Can you just blast me with a little bit of audio to my chest? So for all the and then I think a lot of people know my story, but 2021 comes along and I say, I'm not working these holidays anymore. I'm not missing out on more time with my son and all of that. So today comes around and we're going to get 3 inches of rain. My son is off with his grandparents in Colorado, and I don't think I'll be able to see any fireworks display today. So we'll see how it goes, though.
Well, I mean, I guess like we said last week, the snakes never stop. You got to keep working. You got to keep doing. You got to keep. So are you going to work on the snakes today?
Yeah, well, I am, and I would anyhow, but I especially have to because I'm going out of town this weekend for the Warfel Fest, Warfstock. I don't know, it was Warfel Fest, Warfstock, Jeremy Warfel's shindig in Pennsylvania. So I have to go. I'll be out of the office tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So I have to do all the work I would do today and tomorrow. I've got to get it all done today. Weekends I usually take off except for feeding, but I'll feed Sunday night when I get home.
So it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be sunny in Florida. It's one of those days that probably if you were here and you experienced it, you would go, why the hell did I move to Minnesota? That's what it would be like. It's going to be great here. Fantastic. But if it was going to be rainy and terrible, what I would do is I would stay and probably watch some movies. Now, here's the question. What movies would you watch on the 4th of July? That would be a question of mine. What movies would you watch on the 4th of July? So it would be 4th of July movies or summer movies. What would you watch?
I only know like 4 movies. I was just going to name the 4 movies that I know. I would watch The Big Lebowski. I would watch Shawshank Redemption. I would watch Pulp Fiction. And then I really liked those 2 Quentin Tarantino movies about there was the Magnificent Seven and the Hateful Eight. I like those 2 number movies.
Eight, yes, that was a great movie.
Movies.
Really,
yeah,
good,
very
really
good movies. Yeah.
So,
and maybe I just do a Tarantino day. I do like Django Unchained. Maybe some Coen Brothers, just straight through. Just
really
Raising Arizona.
Really get into the spirit of the 4th of July. Quentin Tarantino,
right? Yeah, with Tarantino. Yeah, you want fireworks? I'll give you fireworks, man.
Come on. Not one. I mean, Jaws. Jaws is the quintessential.
Never saw it.
I
know.
I don't even understand how we're friends when you say things like this.
Yeah, never saw it. Did the ride at Universal seem pretty good?
No. I've never been on the ride at Universal. I don't.
Well,
but that doesn't disqualify me from being a man. If you're,
I don't think that was my point. I could be wrong. I don't think that's where I was leading towards. I did see Forrest Gump. That's a good one. Yeah, I'd watch some Forrest Gump today.
Forrest Gump today. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I mean the 4th of July. That's what I think of. So it's weird. Jaws covers the 4th of July, but then also I watch Jaws on Halloween as well because it's my favorite
pretty scary
movie. Yeah. So maybe I'll throw on Jaws a little later. I'll sit in the pool, watch some Jaws.
Nice. Yeah, you do have the good the pool TV projector setup. You have the movie theater in the backyard. That's all right. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll tell you, I got to give you an update on my one thing you got to know. I have an update on the Nathan's Hot Dog Joey Chestnut.
Oh,
Yeah, today is the day, man. Today is the day. So for those of y'all that don't know, Joey Chestnut, reigning champion, like 16 years, signs an endorsement deal with Impossible Meats. And Nathan's says, you will not advertise another hot dog company, especially some imposter meat nonsense at our beloved tournament of eating that takes place every 4th of July for the mustard belt, by the way, out on Coney Island. And I had predicted that this was all a work, that they were going to create this big hype to get advertisement for Nathan's Impossible. They're going to introduce the 15 contestants. And then for contestant number 16, The Rock, Steve Austin's music with the glass smashing hits, and out comes Joey Chestnut like Hulk Hogan, saves the day, eats 99 hot dogs, and the tradition continues. But it seems that's not going to be the case. Joey Chestnut he is at Fort. I think it's called Fort Bliss, but that seems like a terrible name for a military base in Texas. Is there Fort Bliss in Texas? Yeah. Is that real? Okay.
I think so. Yes.
I think that's where he's at. So he's doing an appearance there where he says if it's the 4th of July, he's eating, but he's put 2 stipulations on his eating today. One, he's going to go up against 4 of America's finest, and he has to out eat all of them combined in a 5-minute sprint, hot dog sprint. Okay, so there was a Fort Bliss, so I did get it. I thought I got it right, and then I was like, this is real early. I don't know if plus it seems like a little, gaslighting. Like if they called kindergarten, like, hi children, welcome to heaven, Fort Bliss. So anyway, so he's going up against 4 of America's finest troops. He says he's going to out-eat all 4 of them cumulatively in a 5-minute sprint. But he also said, and this was where he laid down the gauntlet, so the Nathan's, I think, is at either noon or 1 o'clock today, Eastern time. He's eating at 5 o'clock. Their competition, Nathan's competition, goes for 10 minutes. Joey Chestnut says, I am going to out-eat the champion of Nathan's 10-minute mark in 5 minutes today.
What?
Yeah, and so you could live stream. You could go to see if Chestnut pulls it off. He's hired planes in New York City and LA to fly banners saying that go watch Joey Chestnut. I don't know what the link is or whatever. I should have it, but I am going to keep up with this. So he says he thinks that he can get about 59 hot dogs down in 5 minutes, is what he thinks. And he thinks that the winner at Nathan's will not eclipse that mark.
Because there's no big names at the
bunch of amateurs.
Yeah.
Bunch of Joes and Adams. Yeah. You and I, we could go. How many could you eat in 5 minutes? Like if you were pressured.
So I can't do soggy bread. That's disgusting to me. And that's how they do. That's how they get the hot dogs down. Is they put it
bread in should not be
water,
wet. Yeah.
And then they put it in the.
They make a little bread. Yeah, a little bread shake. You got to get.
I don't think I could do that. So I could do in how much is 5 minutes?
Or 10 is the Nathan's run.
10 minutes. I bet I could probably do 10 in 10 minutes. That's it.
Oh my God. I could eat a pound of ribeye, and I do often. I don't know that I could eat a pound of hot dogs, man.
Really?
Especially in 10 minutes. I don't know. 10? So, I mean, a quarter-pound dog is not that big. So let's say that the typical dog, though, is probably 2.5 to 3 ounces. So that'd be 30. And Joe, that'd be 30 ounces. That'd be almost 2 pounds of dog plus the buns.
I'm not saying I would enjoy it. I'm just saying I could do it.
You could.
I would have a bad rest of the day. It would be bad.
So 2 thoughts. You would probably beat me if we went head to head. However, However, I would wager on the under on you versus 10 dogs in 10 minutes. Let's do a little charity showdown sometime. I would like to make a friendly wager for a good cause, where Chris says he could do 10.
Chris is saying I would do 15
in 10 minutes. You guys are psychopaths.
See, the problem is the bread. It's getting the bread down the gullet. That would be the issue.
That's why you water it. That's why you dunk it.
I know. I can't. But I can't water it. There's no way that I would ever do that. So
what if you dunked it in beer?
Dry bread?
No beer. Sweeten in the deal. Dunk it in a little Pilsner, like a good Frankfurter there in Munich.
Now you're talking. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah.
Look, Chris is saying at least 15. At least.
We're not talking cocktail weenies on little pigs. I'm not talking pigs in a blanket. I'm talking a damn hot dog, man.
Pigs in a blanket. I'll do 30 of those.
Yeah, those. Now those I
delicious.
could pound for pound. I'm a bad man on those. Give me a little mustard sauce. I'll go to town on some good pigs in a blanket, man. All right.
We're talking about with the like the crescent roll wrapped around the little
croissant baked in there. Yeah, the American massacre of the croissant. You stick a hot dog. How do you make it better? Stick a little hot dog in it.
Where's that competition? I'd go to that in a heartbeat.
The pig in a blanket eating competition. That's right.
Well, we're having some fun this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll MC it. I damn sure rented a PA system. Let's put it to use. Chris says we're raising some money for a hot dog competition. I've realized I'm going to need to bring some cash in my pocket to this event. So, well, there's going to be a variety of donations collected for USARK. Chris said he wants to do a 50-50 raffle, which is pretty cool. You throw your money in and one winner gets half the money. The other rest of the half money goes to charity. And now Chris wants to have a hot dog eating competition. I'll MC that thing. I'm not in on it though. Plus, I got to be on a plane the next morning. You can't have a hot dog competition and be on a plane the next day.
Yeah, yeah. No,
clear your schedule, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be you got to be laid out. You got to have nothing to do the next day.
Right.
That's
On competitive eating, are you familiar with the term reversal? They're outlawed. You could get expelled from the competition for a reversal.
Reversal meaning you vomit up everything.
That's right. That's their colloquial.
Like, what's the time limit on that?
I don't know. Like maybe it's like when you finish a round of golf, you go into the little room and you kind of breathe heavy and you chat with the boys and you turn in your card. Like maybe you got to fill out a card. Maybe you got to get your card turned in and signed with no reversal.
Strange. It's strange.
It's just a crazy world, right?
The whole thing is strange. It's crazy.
Suddenly, Adam liking pro wrestling doesn't seem so outlandish, right? Because reality is.
I do like. So there have been points in my life where I do like a food challenge where if you were to eat X, you get it for free, or you get your like picture on a
you get a little picture on the wall. What's your pride and joy of these? Those things are terrible, by the way. But what's your pride and joy of these gastronomic? What should I call it? Go ahead.
When I was in college, when I was in college, there was a pizza place that had like a challenge, like if you eat a pizza with all of these toppings on it, and it was like piled high, you'd get it for free, which is terrible. Like I should get at least a T-shirt or something, Right? But it would just be, you get it for free. You did it. I destroyed myself for like 3 days. I mean, I ate the whole thing. And I was destroyed for 3 days.
What did they make it like really spicy or anything too? Like really
it was just it was like this. It was piled high with all of their toppings, and it was nuts. It was stupid. Yeah. And then I ate, and now I go, oh yeah, I could probably do that again. It's fine. But it's deceiving. It's deceptive, and it's how easy you think it would be, because it's not easy.
No, and those always things are, man. There's.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What's your playlist that you would listen to today? Because actually, Chris is on here, and when you were not here one week, we Chris and I did the show together, and we talked about this thing called Frashan, which is like you get like you listen to certain songs, and certain songs, certain sounds make you you get like give you goosebumps and like give you chills and stuff like that.
Not for the obvious reason, because I actually really it's one of my least favorite songs of his, but I would find a high quality either video or audio recording of an amazing Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band concert, and not for Born in the USA, for all the other songs. He modern American live rock and roll music, he's doing it at just an incredibly high level and has been for years. His live shows are like spiritual revivals, man. And he's an American treasure. We're going to lose him eventually from the road, but man, he is those guys go, man.
He started his tour what was it, last year? I guess it was last year, 2023 in Tampa. I went to see the show in Tampa. It was fantastic. It was unbelievable. It was incredible.
And they're so like it as a music, and I get chills talking about it with the thing you were talking about there. There's a difference between rehearsing and then being so tight knit as a band. There's a mental state called flow where you're doing stuff that you're really not thinking about it. Most of us go into flow when we're driving on long trips. You don't actually think, oh, decelerate into the apex of the curve, downshift, accelerate out of the apex of the curve, straighten the car. But that's what we're doing every time.
Yeah.
And we're not thinking with our left foot and our right foot. We're just doing. And great bands have flow because they played together for so long and they're such pros. And there's a level of trust, and they don't do the song the same two times. So they're conducting it's this living organism on stage that they're going with, and it's just fantastic. And he gives it everything he's got every show. I would say even if somebody's not into Springsteen, they should experiencing his concert live is
I'm not like a huge Springsteen fan. I'm not like a huge Springsteen fan, but the show was fantastic. It was incredible. It was so good. The encore was fantastic. The lights go up in the house. Everybody and you just look around. Everybody's dancing, singing together. It was incredible. It was so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
And there's like 42 of them on stage too. There's a ton of people on there.
You talk about how great the band is. They lose the big man, 12
Clarence.
years ago, maybe. Yeah, Clarence. 12, 13 years ago. His nephew steps in. He's fantastic. He's
Jake
so good.
is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really fantastic. So, I mean, he's great. But there was I was doing this 4th of July playlist last night. We were going through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like Chelsea and I were like thinking through stuff. And I got that feeling, the chills feeling from a song that I'm not proud of. I'm not really proud of.
What is it? Well, you got to give me.
I almost don't want to say it.
Give me some like genre or era or something.
So probably
it's on
came
the 4th
out
of July playlist.
2010, I would say.
Oh, is this a Taylor Swift song that you thought you're like, no, I'm not that guy, and I got the feelings. Yeah, hit me. I don't know. I'm out of my realm. I couldn't name another Taylor Swift-esque person.
I get these chills. Miley Cyrus, "Party in the USA." I mean, it's a great, catchy tune.
Wow. I am familiar with the hook. I don't know the rest of it, but yeah. I got it. All right.
And so I didn't get the feeling until Chelsea started saying, I really like this song because it's about how just music brings everyone together. And I started to listen to the lyrics, and I was like, yeah, that's what it's about. It's about music and how music makes you feel, a
So
part of something.
if it if it wasn't if it wasn't by Miley Cyrus, would you have such feelings of regret for enjoying it? Like, does that taint?
um, I think
Like this,
I don't know. I think because it's such a pop tune. It's such a
yeah.
pop tune. Um,
Like I
but
really dislike the band Journey, but there's a couple times I'll be like, "Oh, this is kind of catchy. Oh, it's Journey. Never mind. I'm out of here." Where you're like, no, it would be fine if it was anybody else, but never mind.
so listen, Adam, we're 30 minutes into this 4th of July uh, uh, show. We haven't even gotten. I think did we get to your one thing? I
Yeah, my
gotten
one
to my
thing
one.
was Joey Chestnut. What's your one
Oh, okay.
thing?
My one thing is I guess because I've been talking about snakes with Chelsea. Chelsea keeps saying I keep
You've
getting
been
these.
you, you've invited him into your life. You've set the stage to receive, and now
No,
no.
I don't. I need to let every. You can't build me up like that. It is no. What I'm saying is, things have started to pop up on her timelines about
Oh
snakes,
yeah, right.
like like that kind of thing.
Google's been listening, huh?
And one of the things that she has really enjoyed is uh, these posts come up about crocheted hats for snakes. Have you heard
I
of this?
yeah, this is you are going to
Is
bring
this?
it today because this is what's going to get the chat going, not me and my Springsteen lecture on musical flow. Yeah. Yeah,
I
these
mean,
are the
look at this.
the
How adorable is that? That's
oh, this is
fantastic.
it's terrible. That's awful. It is your grandma
And
made
I
my
don't know.
daughter's
Look at this.
snake yeah. Uh
It's fantastic.
so there's a
Is this
community with
bad?
no, there's a
Is
community within our community, Joe, and everybody in the audience will know what I'm talking about. Who like they make up little like pet names and like how dogs talk to puppies like they're goo goo gaga babies. Oh, you cute little baby booby, and then but they'll do that for their
look at that.
snakes. But those are the people that'll make these little hats, and then they instead of saying snake, they spell it SNEK. So they're called a snack, I guess. I don't know. I see it written all the time. And then they're like, oh, they're so cute. I'm just gonna boop their snoot. And like those are the people that you're just like, I can't deal with you. And you're not gonna buy it from me anyway. So I don't want to. And it's just like, okay, if you tell me you're gonna boop your snoot, you probably have a crocheted hat for your snake. You should put those up. No. Let's see a few more, Joe.
Look at this. That's fantastic. Look at these guys.
But
Got
now
one
those are
here.
those are primarily hog noses that I see on the screen. We need some ball python hats, not just snake hats, ball python
So
hats.
is this looked down upon in the real like the breeder community of reptiles or like for reptiles or is it
You kind of talk. You roll your. It's an eye roll thing. Like I don't want to say it's looked down on.
look at that.
Okay. It's a little
Look at
looked
that
down
little
on. It's
thing.
not my thing. It's kind of where I'll put it. I do think. Now they might not actually be doing it, pulling it off, but I do think that the people, excuse me, that do make these little crocheted hats probably care very deeply for their animals. So I'll take somebody that's caring for their animals
So
over
let me ask you this.
somebody who isn't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm surprised that that there isn't a booth at a show
Oh,
for
there
these
are.
types of things. There are? Because I
Oh
didn't see
yeah.
that I maybe overlooked it when
Well,
I
no, because that was a reasonable show that you went at Daytona. No, they would get massacred at Daytona. You don't
really?
sell crochet. Oh yeah, you don't sell crocheted snake hats at Daytona. I don't think. But your local, you know, typical agricultural fair barnstorming show. Oh yeah, big time. You could, oh yeah, a little skull, a little Keith Richards skull there for the old snaker. Yeah, look at that.
I mean, okay, here's the other thing. We've talked about snakes having temperaments, or personalities. And you say they have temperaments, not personalities. You would argue against them having personalities. You would say they're temperaments more.
Yeah, a little bit of semantics in there, but yeah, I think it's, yeah, I think they're conditioned in temperaments. Yeah. Now that's a little AI snake though. That's not real.
Okay, that's not real. Throw a little crocheted hat on him. I mean, how can you say this guy doesn't have a little personality to him?
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna lead? He's leading the band. He's the what's the dude that does the, he's the guy. What is a drum major? There it is. That's the word I'm looking for. Troy says anything that makes a pet market happy is a good thing. I generally agree. Other than I gotta think the stress. Like, what are they attaching those hats with? Like, you shouldn't put Scotch tape on. You tie it around the thing's head. Like, they're doing this just for like clickbait, clout kind of thing, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind the crocheted hats.
Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting, and I thought I'd bring it up. But the skull hat is
are
awesome.
neat. Yeah, there's other people crochet these like tubes. They're like socks for snakes that they could crawl in, and they're like, look how comfy it is. It's like a little snake blanket, which I don't think they need, but hey, it's yeah. Yeah,
that was my one thing, and it was my question I wanted to pose as well. I have another question later, but it was my question. Is this thing? I mean, are these types of things looked down upon? Is this a large part of the community? Like,
it's taken less seriously, I guess, is what I would say. Yes, and they would say, "Lighten up, old man," to which they would probably have a point. I think generally, like I say, those people that the hat crocheters care very, very much about their animals and take probably very good care of them.
We got some sponsors we need to talk about.
We should. This is totally anecdotal. Totally, just a couple guys chatting. But Charlie at Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons had a very good June. And I'm not saying that like, oh, look at that, we're all making money. I'm saying it because I had a very good June. And I talked to some other people, and they're like, yeah, it was a good June. And I talked to some software developers who say, you know what, we're seeing some sales things across our broad spectrum of sales data. Maybe we've hit a bottom in the market, and we're starting to get the little bounce coming off, is what I'm saying. Anyway, or it could be that these wonderful people choose to advertise with Proper Cup of Joe, and the community is taking good care of them. I'm not sure, but go check out Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons. That's Charlie Ryan. He's out there in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, working with DG, Candy, G-Stripe, Krypton, and Pied combos, single, double, triple, and quad pets. So if you need ingredients for your projects, building projects for the future, go check them out. His service is fantastic. Charlie's been a good friend and supporter of the show for a long time. And I'm not sure if he sold. I guess I would have heard if he had sold. He's got a 1.1 of a puzzle het clown project, puzzle clown project for you. 1.1 breeders ready to go. Talk about investing forward. That's a good way to do it. Also, Keith at Creative Genetics out in Fresno, California. Keith is working the stranger gene into DG, Pied, and Axanthic combos, doubles, singles, triples. And he's been kind enough to work with me on a clown Axanthic project this year. That male is doing work. You can check out what he's doing on Instagram and my Instagram as well, where I've been tagging Keith in some of the projects we're working on. Go check out those guys and take care of them. Thanks for the support that you've shown them. Also, Cold Blooded Cafe. all of their rats, they breed in-house. They're not buying container ships from Asia. They're not buying lab rats left over that you don't know what's been done to them. They produce all of their rats in-house from start to finish, and they're the only frozen rodents that I use. And I was using their stuff before we ever even went into business with each other. So go check them out. They're who I choose. Use the promo code proper11. You're going to get 11% off your order. And if you're listening, your order gets over $250, put a second promo code in there, FS250. We'll get you free shipping. That's FS250. So you can get free shipping and 11% off, which starts to add up to some, I got to say, really significant savings. And they will be at Schaumburg next weekend, which I'm happy to announce. I will 100% be at Schaumburg next weekend as well. So Saturday I'll be hanging out.
It's outside around Chicago, is that right?
Yeah, right near Leroy Brown over there, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's the southeast side, but we could just leave out that or southwest side, excuse me. But yeah, Schaumburg. I'll be there next weekend. And Sunday I'll be at the Redline shipping booth, and I'll be doing some live interviews. Come hang out. You want to get your brand out there, come say hello, and we can talk about the show, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So come check out Schaumburg. I will be there, NARBC Schaumburg, not vending, but I will be there working. And you could go see Cold Blooded there and Redline me at the booth there too.
Awesome.
Busy time.
Man. That's great. Yeah.
Philly, then Chicago, and then
you're flying to Chicago or no?
No, I'll be driving actually.
And that's driving it's like 10 hours,
5 hours,
5 hours, really, to Chicago, huh? Okay.
West side of Chicago, 5 hours, yeah, to Tinley Park. Once you hit the Beltway at the wrong time of day, 7 hours.
7 hours. Gotcha. I had no idea that it was that close. I don't really. I just feel like everything is so far apart over there. I don't.
You know, if you don't have one of the lakes to deal with navigating around or through or over, it's much quicker. Like to where you were in Michigan, like 14 hours, was because I got a lake in the middle. Chicago, right on the shore, and I could beeline. You could beeline it across Wisconsin and then hang south at Madison or Milwaukee, or you can go south to the Quad Cities, Davenport, Bettendorf area, and head east that way.
The Quad Cities, is that where the Quad City DJs are from? Do you know?
I gotta think. How many quads? I don't know. Maybe
Quad City DJs, and they like to ride the train. No.
Oh, ride the train. That's the one. I thought they were from Jacksonville. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, doobie. Yeah. Joe, what makes us happy? I don't know that we have time to parse all of this out today.
What makes me happy? Oh,
yeah.
God.
We need some happiness these days. What makes us happy? Like, is satisfied a word for happy? Is fulfilled a word? Is it part of it? Is comfort? Is balance?
That's exactly right. You have to define your terms. So what is happiness? That would be the thing. Like, that would be my question to you, would be, what is happiness? What makes you happy? I don't know really. Describe happiness for me, and maybe I can answer that question.
Can we move like one generation forward in the conversation to, we all agree that there's something called happy, and at least get to that point rather than like what was the Supreme Court, which touchy topic this week, but a long time ago, the Supreme Court said we might not be able to define it, but we know it when we see it. Now that was in reference to adult films, but I think we might not be able to define happy, but we all know it when we see it. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
Or we're going to go through the definition of it?
No, I just I can be fleetingly happy for the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or is there are we talking about contentment?
Yeah. Well, I think it could be all of the above. And I was really thinking about it in terms of like, an entrepreneurial standpoint, but then again, a business standpoint too. Joe, I took your advice. I started a new television show. Can you believe it? I sat down for 2 straight episodes last night
Oh, you did.
and watched TV. Unbelievable. I started watching The Bear. And I watched
Yeah, I
the
really
yeah.
every time I watch it, I go, Adam should watch this.
It's
Good.
it's very accurate. I don't know the interpersonal ins and outs of the family stuff yet, but it's very accurate from the interpersonal relationships, both in the kitchen with the suppliers, the finances, but also what really struck me was the stress and the drive to overcome whatever challenge that you signed up for. So throughout my career, either my job outlined, like with the PGA Tour, I would go clean up I was the cleanup guy to get them prepared for the next guy to take over. So I was based out of Jacksonville, but say the director in Scottsdale, Arizona, he left for whatever reason, bad circumstances. Hey, Adam, can you come get this in order? We need it cleaned up. We need, I don't mean cleaned up as in like dirt. I mean, as in like operationally,
Right.
this is broken.
Yeah.
And you got to be that guy. And there's those moments like the guy that makes the bread dough finally calls him chef in the second episode for the very first time. It's the first time anybody in the kitchen shows him respect. And or of the old family, the pre-existing crew. So it reminded me of that, but it gave me such a drive, man. Like, and I realized there's parts of me that misses that, and parts of me that made me happy. But that's a psychopathic life. And I also remember that. I remember I took on actually at the last property that I worked for, the first 3-4 months there, the board was working against me. The team was working against me. The GM that had hired me had since gotten fired by the board, and I was seen as one of his guys. And I wasn't willing to back down to go back to the garbage operation that it was when I first started. And it just like I guess he owes some money to somebody, and the guy's like, we can make this easy. Just sell it. Like, I could have made it easy. I could have just called up the PGA Tour and been like, where you got an opening? I am out of here. I will go, just find me somewhere. I'm out of here. But I didn't. I wanted that fight. I wanted that struggle. And part of me was happy about it. And that's crazy. So like, it got me thinking, and I do like weird stuff. I spend 3 hours a day scrubbing poop out of tubs. Like, where does that fit into happiness definition? And I got thinking that I think it requires a little bit of struggle. I think that the struggle is the payoff, or the payoff is the alternative of the struggle. And that's that happiness, at least in business and entrepreneurship. I would never wish addiction on somebody so that they could get the joy of sobriety. You know what I mean? Like, I struggle with this though, because we don't need to seek out unhealthy measures for happiness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I watch, so I've watched that show, not to go back to it, but but I've watched that show and I go, why would you ever want to do that? Why would you ever want to be this person who is so focused and knows it? I mean, in the third season, they say, they describe that guy, the bear, as he just knows exactly what to do, and he's so good at it. And he seems like a miserable person. He just seems miserable. But then I go, why would you ever want to be in the service industry if that's what it's going to be like? If that's an accurate depiction of what it's like to be a chef, right? But there are those times, and this is to your point, though, when I was a bartender, where I was the only bartender. We got slammed. It's crazy. You're making drinks. You're putting them out there. You're bringing in money. You're getting tips and everything. Like it's so nuts. And then it starts to eventually it just starts to get easier and easier and lighter, and people start to leave. and then it's the end of the night, and you got a pocket full of cash,
That's right.
and you feel so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny,
You
before
feel
you
like a
brought up
rock
the
star,
yeah,
like you're coming off
before
the stage. Yeah.
before you brought up the bear, um, and you asked, "When have you been happy?" or have you do you have moments? Those are some of the greatest moments. Is that I have a pocket full of cash, and I just got slammed at the bar, uh, and I was going crazy for a few hours, and it was
Yeah.
nuts. I thought there's no way that I could keep up with everybody, and what they want, and then I get it. Then you get through it, and
And then you
that's the
go
feeling of happiness, and then you go
and
where
you go out with your team.
right.
It's but there's such a camaraderie part of it. Like I can't quite describe it. I'm guessing sports teams feel this way as well.
Yeah.
Um, when you say why would you do that, and I even question myself all the time. Like in the kitchen, you get paid whether it's busy or whether it's slow.
Mhm.
But the best nights are when you just get punched in the face, and then the 8 or the 10 of you, God, I loved it. And I even loved it. I get chills. God, I just get popped up with the chills. I even loved it when the chef, now these two chefs I had worked with, like both of them for like 17 years. So cumulative, all three of us together had spent, 30, 50 years in the industry and together.
Mhm.
So most people saw me as the dude in the suit with a bow tie, but these guys knew that I could rock it in the kitchen when I was called upon. Now, I'm not the guy on the line. I'm not the one sauteing, but I was the one coordinating, the one going, you at this station, I need this right here, right now. Chef, put that down. You got this walking in. And hey, you just got a well done burger walking in that's going to need to go down now because when the rest of the mid rare order and the salmon crudo comes up, I need it all together. Get that cooking. Give me hands. Get this out here. Give me the maitre d'. I need you to go to table 7. It's going to be another 5 minutes. Get them a drink. Make them happy. All of that. I love it. It's the best. And you do it, and people are happy, and there's joy, and the team has money in their pockets. And then we go out, and it's bad behavior, and we do it all again the next day, and that's fun. It's so fun to talk and reminisce about. But when that's your daily life, 250 days a year, the ups and downs, you're wired at 11:30 at night when everybody else is winding down. Your only friends are in that community, all equally behaving as badly, not getting as much sleep as they should, not treating themselves well, bad relationships, broken families. There's a bad side to it that I just had to get away from, but I did love those moments, man. They were so good. And you just feel
And
like king of the world.
there's it kind of speaks to your point of like you've gotten through something. You go
Yeah.
through a really tough. I'm maybe it's a few hours. But that's what we're talking about. But
Right.
I mean, it's also those times where you spend months or maybe even years of working on something to see it come to fruition, to get through that. There's a little there's that pain of working through something and then getting to the end of it and it actually working and feeling satisfied about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I yeah, you just brought up a comment. I mean, that's yeah, we're trying to define happiness here by saying is that what happiness really is, or and do we have to go through
Right.
the pain of a, a busy shift or the pain of reimagining processes within an organization to actually get to happiness, or is it something different? Is that
Yeah.
just satisfaction? Is that just, hey,
Well,
we've
exactly. There you
accomplished
go.
it?
I've got I'll wrap up that example, and I have one other example that really made me like stop and think like, wait a minute, is that really happiness, or is that a different feeling? But I'll tell you, it's fitting that it's July 4th because at that summer lake mountain resort in North Carolina, 4th of July was by far our busiest day of the year. So I mean, my colleagues today have probably been there since 4 or 5 in the morning getting ready. And the chefs, the directors, the executive, like the operational executives, the people above us there got the day off because it's a national holiday. But the chefs, the director, the operational guy, we're there all day and we're going right through until the fireworks go off. And so that's, 9:30, quarter of 10 at night. The restaurant empties out and we actually batten down the hatches. We're done. We don't want all the drunk people coming back in. They can get drunk on the beach and all of that kind of thing. And I remember thanking everybody, high-fiving everybody. I'm exhausted. It's, however many days, blah, 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 16, whatever hours, 17. And I would go sit on this little hillside on the beach, thousands of people around me, and sort of like being alone in a crowd. And I would just lay down on the hill. I would usually have my chef coat on, and because I knew I was getting dirty that day, so I'd wear my pants and my chef coat, and I would just lay on that hill and watch the fireworks, drink one beer, totally gassed after however long I've worked, and just look around me though. And it was like I'm that little kid again with my face lighting up with the fireworks coming. So, but I wasn't with my family. I wasn't with, and I didn't, as much as I loved my team, I'd had enough of them by that point. I just wanted to be alone and not yelling, not talking, not anything. And then I'd walk back to my car and I'd drive home in the dark. That was it. So, okay. So here's an extreme example of sort of the suffering or the struggle leading to something else. And this is very real and a little bit raw. When my mother was in hospice care with ovarian cancer, I took a leave of absence from work and I went to go care for her. And my mother and my grandmother not pulled me aside. My mother was bedridden at that point, but they wanted to talk to me. And their suggestion was that I leave Miami where my mom was and go back to work. They were at that point in my life, I was 28, 29, and they were worried that I was jeopardizing my career, especially with a company like the PGA Tour. And she said, "You're taking all this time off. You're gonna lose your job, and you're gonna have a life that you have to go on for afterwards." And I said to my mom, "Hey, remember all those times that you said I should come visit, and I said I'm working? I did all of those so that I could have a good enough job with a good enough company that I think will take care of me. But if they don't, I'll go get any other job that I can. I'm not leaving you."
Mm-hmm.
And that brought them to tears and me damn near right now. But it made me so joyful that I had that time to spend with my mother, because I knew that, well, first, there was no way I was leaving anyway. Even if I didn't have such a great answer and a great story to tell about it, I wasn't going anywhere. That wasn't going to be the case. I'll figure it out. I can always get a job. I can always work hard. So, but that was one of those moments where, like, hey, I had struggled. So I'd taken a job with Ruby Tuesday in Alabama. I didn't know anybody there. That wasn't my home. I just did it totally for money, totally for career. And I'd worked my butt off, again, to go back to the bear, hey, Adam, could you come in tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be here. Can you come in early? Yeah, I'll be here. Just total mercenary for 10 years kind of deal. Work my way up the company, make my money. And I was at a point where I was like, I don't care. I'm not leaving, and I'll figure it out. And all credit due to the PGA Tour. They said, take as long as you need. They never, I think I used up some PTO or so, I don't know what, it doesn't matter. It was so insignificant afterwards, as far as like PTO and pay. But I had a job when I came back, and I mean, I think it was 8 or 9 weeks. And I was like, I'll be back when I can, or not. Use me. If you have to fill it, I get it. Like, there's a reason I have a job. You can't just be gone from your job for 2 months. But sure enough, they did. And so, but I think about that moment where I say, I did all of that so that I can have this right now.
Yeah.
And that was a type of joy and a type of happiness.
That's a great way to put it. And it's, anchored in, your experience. I mean, there is, Yeah, yeah, exactly. Got uh, we're coming to the end of our hour here, but um, I think of then there is this other way of thinking about happiness,
Oh, yeah.
and uh, so it's something that my dad used to say all the time, and he said the secret. He always said the secret to a happy life is continuous small treats.
I love it. I love it. You said it a few
And it
times, and
has,
I
and
catch
it's,
myself. I catch myself thinking about it.
and it's not, and it's funny because it's almost the opposite of what we've been talking about. Like
Right.
you don't have to go through pain. You don't have to put yourself through misery to get to happiness. You
Just
can
stretch out the box of chocolates. Just eat a little chocolate on one Monday, a little one on Wednesday. Yeah.
just fix yourself a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and I will say, like, this trip this weekend,
Yeah.
just a little treat. Now,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
under the world of work, and thanks to my fun tax guy, by me playing even a note on the guitar, I get all sorts of different opportunities between the snake world and the music world. So this is a home run on the old tax paperwork. But going to Schaumburg is not an expensive thing, and I don't just, regardless of what anybody thinks, I'm not printing money over here. So I did have to figure out how to bring value to one or more of my sponsors to make this worthwhile for me to go. And the idea was, hey, if I can break even, I'll go take a weekend in Chicago and go to Schaumburg and hang out with my people in the community and hopefully, build a little business. But that was one of those, like, instead of just being like, nah, it's just easier to sit home, which would be way easier. It's like, all right, let me figure this out. Let me do a little bit of work, and I'm going to get another one of these like continuous treats.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly.
All right, one last quick question, and we don't have to pick all apart, although we could for hours. I think that this sort of like uh, demonstrates the difference in personality. Say you had all kinds of money, whatever, pick whatever you want. Yeah, happy money. That's from, this is where the good audience says, we talk about happy money a lot of times. Yeah, happy money, man.
Happy.
If you had all the money that you could imagine, would you just live a life of leisure, whatever that is? Or the flip that we see a lot of times, would you stay in whatever game you were in, or like billionaires that own sports teams? What a headache. You don't need all that. You got to negotiate with cities. You got to figure out how to fund. You got to deal with prima donnas with podcasts. You don't need all this crap in your life. You got all the money in the world. Yet they
Yeah.
do it. And we see it in business all the time. We see it in politics.
Right.
Now, I think some of that is especially politics is a power play, but I think some of it's a power play in general. But I also think some of it is that they are happy with sort of the thrill seeking pursuit or the thrill seeking challenge of whatever accomplishment that they're after. And there's fewer and fewer of the, I want to buy a soccer team and win the Premier League. I mean, that takes billions of dollars to do.
Yeah.
So which would you do? Would you be the life of leisure, or would you pursue the challenges?
So I think that's a really hard question to ask, because I don't think that anybody who doesn't have doesn't have expendable wealth
That's
can
true.
really imagine how their
Yeah.
brain would be.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
because there are things that I'd like to do, but they're too hard to do because I have to make money and support my family.
Yeah.
Like I have to
Right.
contribute. I have to make that money. I have to have that income. If I just had expendable wealth,
Yeah.
uh, it would be like, I mean, there's such a part of me that wants to rest and not do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Forever though.
But yeah, like really just enjoy and travel and go to different places and experience things. Like
Yeah.
there's a part of me that really just wants to do that. And then there's a part of me that goes, I want to, there's a certain sense of accomplishment that I want to have in my life.
Well, purpose
Um,
driven.
yeah. And it's really well. I mean, what would you do? I mean, turn the
Well,
question on you. I just think it's a really hard question to answer.
my my emotions say I would do nothing but leisure and fun.
Right.
Kelly laughs every time I say it. She goes, "You wouldn't. What are you gonna sit? You're gonna hang out at a pool? You're not gonna do. What are you gonna stare at the sun for 4 hours in the afternoon? You're not." I'm
I'm
like,
with
yeah, yeah,
Kelly. I've
yeah.
again, knowing you, I would go, yeah. There's no way. This guy's all about drive. There's
Well,
this drive.
so, but I'll flip it and I'll tell you, or not flip it. I'll tell you the experience that I had. So prior to the last property I worked at was a pretty accessible family destination, uh, middle class, middle upper, whatever it might be. I mean, if you have money, I don't know if I don't know what everybody deals in or has. Everybody's got their own vision of what classes are, but you could go there. A typical family could probably go there. The property I worked at before that was literally owned by a billionaire and his family. Um, and all of them were at least second generation, but the people my age or younger were third and fourth generation. And that third generation that were adults, the fourth were still kids. So let's leave them out of this for a second. That third generation, the grandkids of the original billionaire who had passed on, were some of the most miserable, unhappy,
Yeah,
nasty
yeah.
people. And I think most people know me well enough. I don't just go throwing those words around when I'm talking about human beings. Terrible people. And I think it's because they'd always had everything. When you are born a billionaire, nobody says no to you. Nobody tells you what they really think. Everything is an amazing idea. You can have whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And they were miserable. And I looked around the membership because a lot of the membership at this private club was at that sort of financial echelon as well. And the ones that seemed to be the happiest, the kindest, the most fulfilled, healthiest, always had something going on, whether it was their business, whether it was a charity, whether it was a sports team. We had the owner, one of the owners of the Charlotte Hornets was a member there.
Mm-hmm.
They had something that they were working on. Some of them were working on like they're, spreading the good religious word. Whatever it was, the ones that had something going on always seemed to be and still rooted in a little bit of reality too. I think it forced them to get out of this enclave of helicopters and money.
Yep.
And they were outwardly anyway, seemed happier, kinder, better people. So because of that, I guess I would say I would have to find a cause, but I would mix in a heavy dose of, if I want to go
Right.
see Springsteen in Hyde Park in London, I will be there kind of, there would be no excuses and no holds barred. I don't know when I
Yeah.
would sleep, but that's what I would do.
So stay busy, stay healthy, give
Continuous
yourself
treats.
continuous small treats.
Or they might get big if I had all that money. They'd get big treats.
All right, man. That's a
Well,
great start to the 4th of July.
there we go. Yeah. I hope everybody has an amazing 4th of July. I hope you get to see some kid's awe as he's looking up at the lights. And I hope there's a little American fight in all of us for whatever that means. And, think about that a little bit as well today.
Definitely. Thanks everybody for stopping in. Thanks for the comments. Small group this morning, but a great group. Thanks so much. And just have a great week.
Thanks everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you.